Yeesh. My guy, Ed Prather. Ed, good morning. Dudes. Oh, my God.
I know. And in this
Ugh.
fashion, I'm like, whoa. I think, what was it? Either the first or the second game, but the stat line was shots attempted and goals for Georgie was bad. It was like 16 shots against him and 11 saves. It was
Yeah. Yeah, believe it or not, nobody was really last night was a good game for Georgie. Bednar said it. Georgie, their opener, there were no goalies around in the locker room afterwards. Everybody was kind of like, where'd everybody go?
That was, I mean, holy cow, that was tough. Would they put an 8 on us?
Yeah, it was 8 in the first game in Vegas, and then it was 6 against the Blue Jackets. And now you lose to the Islanders. Patrick Waugh comes back to town and he gets over on you. Dude, it's a rough start for the Avs, man. It's rough, and what's confounding is you can't really explain why it's this bad. It's not, Ed, you're not just losing, you're basically getting killed. So it's not like, hey, we just lost a close one and it came down to the wire. It's like we didn't have any discipline. We didn't play defense. We didn't take advantage of scoring opportunities. So, dude, that was bad. And Bednar's criticism was pretty harsh.
Well, and I think rightly so. I mean, we were joking around last week about the fact that preseason doesn't matter, and even that, hey, let's get be 500 or around 500, 20 games in, and now you're kind of like, okay, wherever we're at, I would agree that it doesn't look great. It doesn't look disciplined, and I don't get it, because we have such a talented group, and Georgiev, as far as I know, and I've watched semi closely, I think there's streaks where he's been amazing, and this would be a low point, and I like the guy a lot, so I hope that we can correct it.
The truth is they're missing 4 of their best players. 4. Now Landeskog has been missing for a couple years, but he's definitely, if he's healthy, one of your best players. Jonathan Drouin is out, and I don't know how long he's going to be out. And Blvd was, not very specific with it, meaning there's more games to be lost. Actually, Taves was out yesterday, so that's actually 5. He was injured. Val Nichushkin is out, and Artturi Lehkonen was out. So if you want to look for reasons why, listen, man, this just wasn't your night. I mean, that's 5 dudes. I mean, 5 guys. So, okay, I get it. But then again, the better players weren't playing that great either. So, yeah, tough night, and no rest for the weary. Day off to today, and then they play the Bruins, who are always annoying, on Wednesday. Yikes, Ed.
Are they in Boston on Wednesday, or are they here?
No, they're here, and they're here on Friday too. Weird start to the season. They had a road game in Vegas to start with, right, and then they have 4 games in a row at home. In fact, I'm going to look up
interesting.
Who do they play Friday? Hold on. Ed, I want to be specific. I don't want to be vague with you, Ed.
I mean, I try to.
Nobody knows. I mean,
what a tough weekend for
Anaheim. Anaheim on Friday. There's no way you should know Anaheim is playing here on Friday, but they are.
Hey, I like my Colorado sports, but I was just saying, I mean, it was a bit of a rough weekend. I was at the game yesterday on Sunday.
Okay.
And oh my gosh. That was a heartbreaker. I mean, that was a heartbreaker from like the first 2 minutes in. I don't ever know what Broncos team we get. And I know I'm sure you've been talking all about this, but like what is going
on? They need to find an offensive identity, unless they want Bo Nix to summon the spirit of Tim Tebow. So they can do one of 2 things. They can organize things the way it suits Bo, which is to run, more up tempo, keep things more simple.
Sure.
or they can suffer for 3 quarters until it all goes to hell in a handbasket and you're left with no option but to run around, scramble, and act like a crazy person.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and that was Tebow. Tebow was, okay, here's the game plan. Here's how we want to play the game. Everything's terrible. Just go win, Timmy. Just go win the game, Timmy. And
trust me, I remember. And there were some awesome moments. And it's funny, I hadn't thought about it, but you're so right. It's very frenetic. It's like, this way and then circling back around. And, it's amazing to an extent. My thought is we make it look sort of reasonable. That was not the game. And my impression is, the Chargers are going to more of a prevent defense, or else those 16 points may or may not happen. It was such a good day for football. It just felt like we were, or build momentum, and then
who'd you go to the game with?
My pops.
That's cool. That's awesome.
It was really nice. I floated the idea to my kids, and we're not there yet. We're not there.
Smart decision, Ed.
Yeah.
Smart decision.
It's quite an endeavor. I give you a lot of props, D-Mac, for.
Oh, I am such a baby. No, Ed. I am such a baby when it comes to the Broncos games. I go, first of all, I go by myself, okay? I show up like 3 hours early so I don't have to deal with traffic. But the reason I show up early, I get free parking. I get free admittance. I go into the press box where it's inside. There's free food constantly the entire game. There's a bathroom right beside me.
That's key.
Yeah. Oh, the bathroom's unbelievable key. And no. You don't give me any credit, Ed, whatsoever, aside from there's a lot of time spent there.
Well, it was, I have to say, it was a reminder of what Bronco country is, though. I mean, the energy, the amount of people that are investing their time and money into these, just the most incredible tailgating scene. It was awesome. So
yeah.
We got a short week. It'll be fun to have the reunion, of course, but gosh, like 4-2 would have been amazing.
It'd have been great. I got good news for you. The Saints really suck. And as we go on,
is that right?
As we go on here with a variety of our shows that I'm on, I'll lay out why. Their defense is horrid, Ed. It's about as bad as you can get. So, and again, we'll amp up to it this week. But trust me, I'm predicting a Broncos win. I think they'll get off to a fast start. Sean Payton did point out that teams in a short week that lead in halftime have a greater chance of winning than a halftime lead during a regular week. So expect the Broncos, I think, to come out firing against a bad Saints defense. And even if the Broncos are down a little bit for whatever reason this game, and I'm telling you, the Saints, if the Broncos are down by 20, they're still in the game against the Saints.
Wow.
It's one of the worst defenses that they'll face the entire year. And it doesn't matter that it's in New Orleans. Don't worry about it.
Well, is Derek Carr playing?
No, he is not.
So that is a big X factor.
Yeah, it's Spencer Rattler. He actually played okay against the Buccaneers. He wasn't the reason that they lost that game 51-27. They lost, and Ed, they scored 27 points in the second quarter.
Wow.
27 points in the second quarter, and they lost 51-27.
The Saints scored 27, and oh my.
Yes, they were trailing 17-0 and came back and to lead. And trust me, the Saints are it's not a good team. It's not a good team. I'll tell you what a good team though is. The best team, that's Ed Prather Real Estate. That's the best team in town, Ed. That's what I'm talking about. What's new in the world of real estate, and what your team is cooking up these days.
Hey, quite frankly, we saw in the last week rates kick up about a point. It's interesting. Despite that, we've seen a huge increase in activity, showings, offers. And, in the bigger picture, we fully expect, especially with sort of the economic indicators you see, but rates to come down, which would mean a big 2025 for both volume and most likely we would see upward pressure on value. So you see, again, buyers taking advantage of more inventory, but we're having a lot of conversations with sellers, just talking about putting together a plan just like you and I did. And, some of that is later this year. And a lot of that is in Q1 and beyond next year, just making sure we have our ducks in a row.
Ed, what should people do to reach out to you? And take me through the process. What do I hear? What do we do? How do I start the ball rolling with you?
Well, the first thing is really understanding what your situation is. You and I it sounds cliche, but we sit down at the dinner table, and talk about, hey, what's that home run scenario? What's every situation is different, and that might be timing, that may be condition of a home, especially if we're talking with sellers, and we just want to make sure that, hey, even brand new homes, there's always going to be stuff. Like there just is. And if we're preparing a home for market, we want to make sure that time and money is spent really well, that you get a big return. So whether that is coordinating contractors, setting up a plan, putting together a budget, we want to come up with sort of that sequence to make sure that when it's time to list, when it's time to get photos and put together marketing, that it is perfect, because we have our online presence, and then we absolutely need that to equate to showings in person. And gosh, we are seeing, like I said, so much activity lately that we've seen a lot more offers, a lot more showings set up. And interesting enough, we had the median close price drop by about 2% in August, in September. And my feeling is that would be the bottom, because most of those homes went under contract in July or August, and things have changed. And for the most part, they've changed for the better. And what we expect there certainly is, again, those volumes, the volume of sales in addition to values go up. And on the buy side, there's still a lot of inventory. And because of that, you have pain. You have some sellers that need to make a move. And so you're seeing buyers jump in a market that's very opportunistic.
All right, check out Ed and his team, the #1 trusted real estate team in Colorado. He'll sell your home guaranteed. Absolutely. At edprather.com, edprather.com. All right, Ed, good vibes, better feelings for things to come.
Better week.
Yeah, and I'll talk to you next week. Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, D-Mac.
All right, my guy, Ed Prather. Time for D-Mac Smack. Let's see